A couple semesters ago, I took a marketing class that talked about how social media is actually designed the same way that casino games are. And what I mean by that is the people who design the interface and appearance of social media sites are intentionally following techniques that are used by casino games in order to create addictive behavior. You can see this a little bit in the continuous scrolling, the colors, and the continual feedback of engagement reward. Our attention has become a currency that we pay with for entertainment. And while I don't necessarily have a problem with content creators and social media companies making money off of their product, I think that's a worthy pursuit. I do think it's a problem when the people who are paying us don't actually know that there's a cost to what we're consuming. So after I had heard that social media sites were designed to be addictive, just like forms of gambling, I didn't think I would ever have a media addiction because I'm not a gambler. I consider myself to have pretty strong self-control. So why should I fall prey to these tactics that I know exist? But I'm starting to think that I was wrong. And even at the time, I think I was already addicted. I was thinking I had strong enough willpower and discipline and self-control to resist, so I didn't need to worry about monitoring myself for media addiction. I just want to share some of the signs I started to notice in myself that led me to think I may actually have a media addiction, so that if you're in a similar place as me, whether you think you're immune to an addiction or if you're one step ahead and you already know you have an addiction, we can start to kind of find the root and the symptoms of those insatiable cravings and the nonstop demand for attention. One of the first things that began to bother me and key me into the fact that I might have immediate addiction was the sense of loss that I would feel when my phone wasn't on me. I just all of a sudden was struck one day with how funny it is that I would have to make a conscious effort to leave my phone at home just to go on a 15-minute walk. When, as a kid, I didn't have a phone, I didn't have a personal device, and that was never something I thought about. I went wherever I wanted without having to worry about, is my phone on me? Do I have it if I want it or need it? Or the itch to consume starts to bug me. And the reason I think that is related to an addiction is it's my brain craving that investment reward cycle that is designed by those gambling techniques. Apart from the sense of loss, I also noticed a sense of restlessness when I didn't have something immediately entertaining me. Again, to compare my life to pre-device as a child, I remember having a lot of period of boredom, just kind of lazing around, maybe bothering my siblings or looking for something to do, wondering, are any of my friends home? Can I go, do something with them? Or even if I was really desperate, can I help my mom or something like that? And I mean, to be fair, I am much busier as an adult, but I think too that when I do have downtimes, I don't allow myself to be bored. I fill all those times with screen time and consumption of media and entertainment and just any information really to fill the void, even if it isn't beneficial. I found that whenever there's a gap period, even if it's 5 minutes sitting in class waiting for the professor to arrive, or 15 minutes in the doctor's office waiting for them to call me back, or my friend gets up to go to the restroom for 3 minutes and I'm on my own. Why does my phone always have to be the first thing I pull out? Why do I not just take that time to think about what we've been talking about, or prepare myself for what's coming next, or even just let my mind wander and let my mind take a break. That is a skill of rest and thoughtfulness that I've lost. That even though I realize the value of it, it seems kind of impossible to regain because of the feeling of restlessness that I get whenever there's a moment of silence and I feel the urge to pull out my phone and start scrolling and looking for something. That leads to my next point, is the insatiable scrolling. I don't know if this is necessarily a sign of media addiction, but it does make me think that I'm looking for some kind of reward. I'm looking for something worthwhile, and I don't feel like I have a control always to stop. I pull out my phone, I get on Instagram, and I just kind of scroll. I don't necessarily read the content. I don't necessarily study the pictures or think about ways I can get in touch with my friends there. Especially on YouTube, I think is really bad about this. You start watching shorts and then you go down a rabbit hole and you just kind of think, oh, this is nice content, but internally there's kind of a drive to just continue scrolling. But it still feels empty and it's just insatiable. I've never really felt like I was satisfied by the media that I consumed. Sometimes I get tired of it and I force myself to take a break, but I don't really feel filled up by it. And I think that's where the addiction part comes, in that there's a perceived need, but consuming doesn't answer that need. So kind of to summarize, I didn't think that I was addicted to media. In fact, a lot of times I would compare myself to my peers, other people in my generation or my age, and kind of applaud myself. Oh, I don't really spend as much time on media as they do. It must be fine. But I've still noticed that I've lost some of the ability to choose how I spend my time and to enjoy other things that are not media. That's not at all to kind of victimize myself or say I'm not to blame because I can't help it. It's just a product of the system that is designed to make me addicted. I think we all do have the ability to choose, but being addicted does take a lot of the ease or instinct or enjoyment out of other things. For example, I used to spend my evenings writing stories or drawing pictures of fictional characters or talking with my family or even crocheting or knitting or doing some kind of creative craft with my hands. And I still do those things sometimes, but it feels forced. I mean, part of that may be because I'm more tired these days because I have more to do, but I think part of it is also I have trained myself to see media as the answer to my exhaustion, when really it doesn't fill me back up. It just kind of saps more of my attention, removes more of my peace of mind, but tricks me into viewing it as something helpful because it feeds that dopamine craving. So I don't want this discussion to be a downer, because really in this channel I hope to be comforting and inspiring and relatable. So in future episodes and discussions, I hope to kind of just explore more ways that we can restore the ability to rest, the ability to do things slowly, and the ability to choose when to invest in media and use it for good, and when to just close that door and do something different with your time. I especially want to try and find ways that I can grow in delayed gratification. So if any of these things are something that you're curious about or also want to try and invest in, feel free to come back and join me. And you don't have to agree with everything I say or relate to everything I say, but even if it's different from your opinion or your experience, hopefully it can spur some thought for you and make you kind of consider your own life and experience and your own needs. I do believe there are a lot of benefits to media that I actually want to reap more of, such as staying in contact with good friends and being encouraged or finding inspiration. But I've just found that I'm at a point currently where I'm not really able to be very intentional with media because I am so addicted to whatever media has to offer. I don't really care about the quality. And I know some of you might be thinking it's a little bit counterintuitive for me to try to fight fire with fire, so to speak, to just add to the mind-boggling amounts of media that are being produced every day in order to help people find freedom from it. But I figure if you are like me, you're going to be here anyways. And that means it's probably the best way to reach out to other people. And again, I do think there are benefits to media, and I hope that this channel can be one of them. That's, uplifting and good for you and helpful and thought-provoking. So it's very kind of you to watch this video all the way through. Thank you for just thinking about these things, and I hope that maybe it benefits you some way or gives you some kind of knowledge or understanding about yourself and your needs. I will see you in a week.